So I'm going to be starting today's video here, and I'm going to be showing you the sketches for the drawing I'm going to be making. Let me go and find it. So it kind of started off here, and I was going to be drawing this one guy that I know because it's going to be his birthday. And so these were the initial sketches. You can see right here, just like a bit of a head. But I've also been on YouTube seeing this one guy, I think his name is Scott. He's done like a lot of things with like hair recently and watercolor, so I kind of got inspired by that. You can see my thumbnail sketches here. Tried doing something that's a little longer, so like his hair's going this way. Also did something that looks like a plant here, and I have another one here that's like a little more chaotic. And I like these two because they're like your little swirly and stuff. Then over here, kind of refine it a little bit more. I add more layers to it. I add some values just to see like how to go well. And then this is like one of my more crazier sketches of it. It's like something I kind of like. It kind of mixes what I like drawing, and it also kind of has his head. But I feel like it was too chaotic. Like I'm not really sure how to actually make this, especially with watercolors. So I ended up kind of like scratching that, and you'll later see where I took this. And this was like one of the more final iterations of the drawing. And so yeah, now it's gonna cut to me actually working on the painting. As I had said, this is supposed to be a friend of mine. He has long hair, so I thought making his hair the main part of the painting would be cool. But as you'll soon see, he doesn't really look like a man. This wasn't intentional at all, as you saw from the sketches, like, and there he actually looked like a man. I think it's just from the way I designed the hair that made me give him a more feminine design. And while looking at my editing software, I also noticed that the hair kind of looks like a squirrel's tail. I envisioned the hair being like this dark brown, but the color palette ended up being quite warm, which I ended up liking more. And this person has also never really been fond of my portraits of him, as they were quite ridiculous, and I really don't think this is going to make that any better. Another design choice is that I blindfolded the character. I don't know, it's just something weird about me. I just don't like drawing eyes. It just feels weird. Like whenever I make a self-portrait, I don't draw my eyes, I just have my glasses. And one time when I did, I just made my eyes into a black void. But funnily enough, when I do draw eyes, they're drawn in like a weird context, either attached to some horrifying creature or they're just by themselves. In my last video, which if you want to watch will pop up in the top right corner, I was talking about how I went to Mexico for a week and I went on these 2 walks. I had time to talk about the first trip and not the second, which is what I'm going to do right now. Because I don't really know the area too well, I went with these 2 people which are more familiar with it. It was a girl, the same one from the last story, and her brother this time. And this time I did bring a pair of jeans and boots, because out there's a bunch of fire ants and a bunch of spike plants, and I was not going to risk getting hurt by either. I've never been by a fire ant before, and I definitely don't want my first time to be in a foreign country. Anyways, we make our journey to this arc. At first, the path seemed fine until it got to like this one turn that kind of reminded me of something I'd seen in the Divine Comedy. We get there, and well, I mean, it's an arc. It's supposed to be like, I think, a bridge, but I don't know why they call it the arc. And they're telling me a bit about the place, and I'm just kind of standing there, really hoping nothing gets on my pants or inside my socks. Then they tell me that someone had hung themselves in a nearby tree. Then after this bridge, we take a look at a man-made lake, and then we head home. I only had a few days left after that. I got into a water balloon fight, but there's like 7 of us, so we would quickly run out of balloons. So instead, we just filled up like buckets of water, just drenched each other. I did get a little bit of water up my nose, which did make me think of Kirkusat's latest video about like brand bacteria. I was just like, I really hope I didn't get anything, but it's been like a week, so I've been fine. Hopefully nothing happens. Then later that same night, I was told that my young guy from the last video had seen like an apparition of the person that had hung themselves. They said he had no way of knowing since this took place like a decade before I was born, but I don't really buy it. I feel like he found out through some other way. Do any of you play around? It's this 1v1 game where you're this circle and you need to shoot your opponent, which is another circle. Then the loser around gets to pick a new card, which has like a special effect. By default, it's a great game. It has its intense moments. Sadly though, the game doesn't get updated anymore, but it does have a modding community. One of my favorites is the Rounds with Friends mod because you're able to play with 4 people. There's also some mods that add custom cards, and these cards, I swear, if you're prone to seizures, you're just gonna flatline during this game. So many things happen on screen that you just won't be able to tell what's going on. There's been times where someone shoots something and the screen just starts pulsating with color. At that point, you just fire and hope for the best. Oh yeah, last year I bought this audio device because I just didn't want to use Spotify anymore. It wasn't cheap. It cost me like $360, and it served me well. I used it at home while I made these videos. I took it to work so I wouldn't feel too lonely while cleaning up. But like a lot of people, I just dropped stuff. And I've dropped that thing so many times, but nothing really happened to it. One time I dropped it, the back panel fell off, but it wasn't too hard to put it back in. But then last month, it just wouldn't turn on anymore, and it still hasn't. I think I might have dropped it the day before. I can't really remember. But when I charge it, it charges, or at least it shows that it's charging. But when I go to turn it on, nothing happens. I opened it up thinking it might do me some good, but of course it didn't. I've looked into programming an MP3 player on my phone, but it's kind of been hard getting there. I don't have any coding experience besides following a few Brackeys tutorials, and my schedule's already quite packed. But that's something I'll hopefully have time for later. For now, I've gone back to Spotify since I needed music for my trip. And another thing, I just keep dropping my microphone. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't gone the way of the MP3 player and just stopped working. Crusader Kings is a game that I haven't been able to put down since I found it. I've been playing with some friends and like really wacky stuff happens. Like for example, one of my friends, he said that a crack opened in the earth and then he heard voices from hell. And to fix this, he sent a priest to throw some holy water in it. I mean, it's just like that's just the sort of stuff that's gonna happen in that game. And I think it's something else I'm gonna make an animations out of. We have this campaign where I'm the King of Wales. I took over Brittany, which is like the small territory next to France. Then the peasants revolted, they wiped out my entire army, which is like 6,000 people. Then I lost all that land. And since this does take place in medieval Europe, we have been keeping the bloodline quite pure, if you know what I mean. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope to have something up in the upcoming weeks, but knowing my post history, maybe that won't happen, but I'm going to try. Anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate you taking time to listen to me and watch my art, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!